Ranveer Singh runs a Midlands-based charity for vulnerable people and families, but recently he felt his efforts were needed elsewhere. In November, he travelled to India to provide food and clothing to farmers who are protesting on the borders of Delhi over new agricultural laws. He says he was upset by what he saw.
The most heartbreaking side of it was seeing elderly people, in their late 80s, 90s, with cuts and bruises on their faces, with bandages on their arms, and they'd been attacked by the police. It was very, very heartbreaking. It was very hard to see, and some of the images, to be fair, some of the images will never leave me.
Scary. We didn't know whether he was going to come back. Obviously everything you were seeing on social media, how people were going missing, how people were getting injured and dying, we didn't know if he was going to be okay.
Tens of thousands of farmers, including many elderly, have been camping on the borders of Delhi for almost 3 months. They're concerned new farming laws will drive them into poverty. A tractor rally in the city last month ended in violence as police and protesters clashed. One protester died and several others, including police, were injured. Kiran Sahota's cousin is among those protesting.
Fearful for my cousin because of his safety and well-being. Because if we can't be there, we don't actually know what's happening. And although we're hearing from him, but then you hear people getting arrested and people, just beaten, and you're just like, is it going to be ours, today? Are we going to get that phone call?
Indian authorities have since barricaded the city to prevent protesters from entering the capital. At times, internet, water and electricity were cut.
They were that cruel. They even put barricades in front of the toilets, so people can't have access to the toilets.
The protests have attracted international attention, with singer Rihanna tweeting, "Why aren't we talking about this?" Climate activist Greta Thunberg and Hollywood actress Susan Sarandon have also expressed their solidarity with the farmers. Concerns are growing over India's handling of the protests. It's after several activists and journalists were arrested, and hundreds of protesters are missing. More than 100,000 people have signed a petition calling on the British government to intervene. Cooley is a Coventry-based music producer. He's released a song about the protest to raise awareness.
Send a message, if it circulates round, to India, to the farmers that are struggling, that listen, hey, you're not on your own. Like, we here, the extended Punjabi community in other countries around the world are there with you. And people outside of our community, outside of our race, outside of our beliefs and cultures, they're here with us too. And we'll stand here united for this struggle for food and farming.
In the past, the Indian government guaranteed a minimum price for farmers' crops. The new laws stop that. They say it will give farmers more freedom to sell to anyone at any price, but the farmers fear they won't be able to compete with the big corporations. Prime Minister Modi has offered to suspend the laws while talks are ongoing. The Indian authorities are also concerned external groups are trying to hijack the protests and cause problems between them and the farmers.
Those people from all faiths, the way the Indian media is making it out to be, they're trying to make it out a Sikh protest, but it was not a Sikh protest. It's a protest for farmers all over India, fighting for their livelihood.
A makeshift home in the back of a lorry, as many farmers vow not to leave until the new laws are repealed. Balvinder Sidhu for ITV News.